All right, so let's talk about writing homework. I would say out of all of the requests I get from my one-on-one clients, aside from just help my kid with their homework because I can't do it at home, helping them with writing would be the second request that I get all the time. And a big reason for that is because every parent wants their kid to be a great writer, but they don't know how to help them. You can maybe be a great writer, but you don't know how to teach someone how to be a great writer. Or you know that something's lacking, but you don't know really how to help kind of fill those gaps or adjust whatever your kid is doing at the time. So in this video, I'm gonna go through literally step by step exactly what I do for any child that comes to me that has an assigned writing assignment. So if you are the parent in the situation when your kid brings home the book report or brings home the research project or write a story about your favorite birthday party, you're gonna have step-by-step guide on exactly how to help them, because most of the frustration for writing comes from feeling ill-equipped, both on the parent side, not knowing how to support, and from your kid's side with not knowing where to start, what to write about, and how to really finish up the project. So, first things first, you always want to begin with the end in mind. As adults, we kind of have figured that out on our own, but it's rarely something that's taught to kids. So if they come home with a homework assignment, that's where you need to start. Look at what the teacher assigned. That's what the end result is going to need to include, right? All of the requirements are there. Hopefully you have a teacher who's giving you a rubric, an outline, a checklist of sorts, telling you something that needs to be included for you to feel like this assignment's been completed. So you take that piece of paper, post on the portal, whatever it is, and you and your child sit down and you create a list of all the requirements that have to be in this writing assignment. Okay, that's your checklist. That's where you start. Then what you do is you're going to take that list and you're going to start by answering the question. Now, if it's something like a book report, that's going to be a little more involved if it's just like a summary, because you're going to start with, well, the beginning, middle, and end. But if you're doing something like a writing prompt where it's tell about the best parts of your spring break, or I'm trying to think of another example, or it could be something as simple as what is the best place for you to go on vacation, right? There's an answer to that question that you can start with. That's the first piece on your outline. Now the next three pieces are going to be the support, the details that help your answer really ring true. So what's the best place to vacation? The Florida Keys. That's my sentence one. 3 reasons why. It's beautiful. It's got a lot to do. I love hot weather. That's 1, 2, 3 details. Now you have 3 more sentences. Your fourth one, your fifth one is going to be that conclusion, kind of wrapping it up. If your assignment is simply to write a paragraph, mama, you're done. You have your 5 sentences, your kiddo goes and writes them in a paragraph. If the assignment is more elaborate, here's what you do. You take those 3 details that were in the middle, and they each get their own note card. On the note card, at the top, you're writing what that detail was. It's beautiful, lots to do, awesome weather. Underneath, you're doing another 1, 2, 3, and supporting that detail even further. You're elaborating, giving more ideas. And this is kind of used as a litmus test too. If you can't come up with 3 reasons to support that detail, it's probably not a good one, right? So that's where you can chunk it out and start over. Now, here's where you're gonna feel resistance from your kid. You're making me do so much more work. You're having to do all of this extra work that my teacher told me I didn't have to do. It's fine. Here's where you come into that resistance. Here's your permission to do that writing for them, especially if it's not something that the teacher asked them to do or assigned as part of this project. You can have them verbally give you all of their ideas and you write them down for them or type it out for them. Take that writing away and focus more on the generation of the ideas and the brainstorming. That is going to be the biggest part for a writing assignment and usually the easiest part for the kid. They can come up with ideas. They already have the answers in their brain, especially if it's something like a personal narrative. The hardest part is organizing it and getting it on paper. So if you're creating this outline for them and doing the actual writing as they're talking to you, you're taking away all of that frustration. You're taking away all of that negativity towards writing. And that's totally fine. If nothing else, you're modeling for them how to do it right and how to organize it so that the next time it comes up, they've seen it done before, okay? So, moving on to our note cards. You already did your intro paragraph. That's what we did with sentence 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now you have body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2, body paragraph 3. 4 paragraphs are done. Now your conclusion is usually a lot smaller. You're kind of just recapping what you already spoke about, writing it in a different way. Honestly, that's not something I usually outline. I kind of just let that flow at the end of the drafting. Now, again, here's where you might get some resistance, especially if there are a lot of errors or your child decides they want to change something in the middle of their writing, whatever. I highly recommend, unless it's torture for you or your kid, to type any writing assignment to start with. The first draft should always be typed, because then when you go and you cut, paste, change, take out, add in, it's not as laborious and it doesn't feel literally physically difficult. After writing 5 paragraphs with a pencil, your hand's tired. You don't want to start over. You don't want to add something else in. When you're doing it on the computer, you can easily make those changes and take away all of that frustration. Now, I would suggest that your kid does the typing, definitely if they're an older child, because it needs to have their voice. It needs to have their writing style. The teacher needs to see what their writing abilities are. You can't sit and write for them because it's going to look like an adult wrote the assignment for them. Not the goal here. Now, if it is required to be handwritten, that's totally fine too. Once you've got it done, print it out, and you just use it to sit there and rewrite. It's already perfect. Just copy it over. Now, if this is something that is going to really overwhelm, frustrate, feel like a ton of work for your kid, especially if it's not due the next day, I would recommend doing 1 paragraph a night. Take the introductory paragraph, get that done. Tomorrow night, we'll work on this paragraph. The next night, you work on this paragraph. Or break it apart during your night. Maybe you start before dinner, you do 1 paragraph. You do a 2nd paragraph after dinner. You do the 3rd paragraph after bath time. Whatever. But break it apart so they're not sitting and writing for that entire stretch of time. Again, we're trying to eliminate the negative feelings with writing and just providing them with all the tools to make it easier. Now, once that is completed and they have the draft for the end product, you want to go back to that checklist. Remember, we began with the end in mind. So now that the end product is there, that checklist serves to make sure that everything is there that needs to be done. And you can include all of your spice and all of your details and all of your flair, but the bare minimum that was required from the teacher and the assignment, you want to make sure it's all included. Okay, so my challenge to you is to, instead of coming into the situation already feeling frustrated, bringing your negative feelings of working on a writing assignment with your kid, is to come in positive and be like, listen, I got you. Don't worry. We're going to do this together. I'm going to make this so easy for you. You are going to think that we have a magic wand for this writing assignment. Because when you come in with that attitude, they're going to come back with it too. All right. If this was something that was super helpful for you, please make sure you save it. Because if you don't have a writing homework assignment coming home now, you're going to have one at some point, and I want you to have all these tools for yourself. All right. Happy writing.